What's up, guys? It's Jones here, bringing you another video. This time it's going to be about probably my favorite video on the PC, SimCity 4. I've been playing this for about 4 years now. I got it back in 2009. I was in the 10th grade. I received it on Christmas, and I've been playing it pretty continuously ever since. But only in about the past year and a half or 2 years or so that I've started playing seriously and doing some nitty gritty research into uh, how to be successful at the game. But I really just wanted to make this video because I've been doing some crazy stuff with the video. With the game, and one of my friends said that I maybe should put out there what I've been doing so people could see because it sounds pretty crazy to him. So I want to share that with you guys, and I'm gonna take you through it step by step from back when I first started playing up until what I'm doing now. So, whoa, what is this big fog rolling in? This big, just one big rectangular cloud or whatever. That thing is huge. What the heck? Anyways, I guess we could go ahead and get started. I'm gonna just play the tutorial city map. I'm not actually gonna play the tutorial itself. I just wanted to show you what what I did when I was first learning how to play the game. So we're gonna exit that tutorial and just play the city. All right. So first, whenever I first started playing the game, I didn't know what the heck was going on, but I had a pretty good idea of what to kind of do because the first SimCity game that I had ever played from the SimCity series was SimCity 3000 back in like 2002. So I had an idea of what to do, but I was still a noob because I was like 9 when I learned how to play that game. So I just started zoning stuff, just laying it down or whatever, and put it right next to each other. And even the industrial, I just put it like right next to the residential because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I put the power like right in the middle. I was like, oh, if they need power, maybe if I put it in the middle, uh, they'll all get it easy. Yeah, that probably work. Let's do that. So I just dropped like a bunch of power plants right in the middle. It was like the most polluted crap ever. And I put like my water right next to it, and it was just atrocious. So I built a city like this. I'm so ashamed to show you guys this, because this is my dark ages when I was making cities like this. But I mean, I was a noob, so I didn't know what I was doing. So I was still systematic about it a little bit because I knew I'm just that type of person where I like grids and square shapes. So I still try to do things a little systematically, but it wasn't really the the ideal type of city building. I'll say that. But anyway, I built a bunch of these cities, and I put like my schools and stuff down, and they would start to grow. They were they were they were pretty. They got pretty big. I had one city that was around 90,000 people actually. So it was pretty nice, I gotta say. But when I really started to see the cities growing up to like 90,000 and stuff like that, that's when you have some high density skyscrapers growing up a little bit, like not even really skyscrapers, just like tall buildings. And I was like, oh man, those buildings are so cool. I wonder how many of those I can get. I wonder how big I can get this city. So I started considering any and everything that I could do to get these cities to be as big as possible. So I was like, how can I fit as much zoning on the map as possible? Well, well, I can't have this water here because even though it's good for like shipping um, industrial goods through seaports, even though I can like plop these down, um, if I can get a good terrain spot, it doesn't want to go. But even though I can plop those down, it's I can't build on top of this water. So, I mean, what use is it to me to have water anywhere in my city? I might as well just go inland and try to build over there. So that's what I did. After I got some of these higher population areas to grow, then I just started like um, moving inward to see how much of the demand I could capitalize on because this demand was getting pretty big. More people were moving in. Uh, and the occasional fire would start, and I just throw like a little bitty fire station down like right there and solve the problem. Sent the firemen over there. It went out on its own. But yeah, I did this for a long time, but I was like, nah, I can't do this if there's water on my map. So let's go in. So I left out of there. We're not even gonna save that. We don't care about that city. So I moved into a place like, I don't know. That's a good inland region. Like right here, there was no water on the map at all. And then I started a new city and I put my zoning down everywhere. And then I noticed these little areas where the terrain was just too steep to support any kind of zoning or roads or anything like that. So I was like, that's wasting space as well. So I don't think I need terrain features either. I don't want to have to build around those. And luckily in SimCity 4, you don't have to. You can just start a new region with no terrain features at all. It's just a big plain. And so that's what I did. I left out of here. I started a new region. Let's create that. It was a plains region. And it's just this flat canvas that I could do anything I wanted on. So that became my next step. So we're just going to start a random new tile here, small tile, just to show you my rationale through it. So yeah, I got here. It was beautiful. I could zone wherever I wanted, and um, and I didn't have to worry about terrain and water getting in the way of my city's growth. So after that, I started to notice that hey, um, these cities have a lot of intersections in them, and when the traffic gets kind of high when the cities I'm building at this stage I'm building cities like in the 100,000s and the 200,000s, and I have all these little intersections and whatever in the middle of my city, and it's like wreaking havoc on my population because they can't get to work. All the intersections they have to stop at each and every one of these turns. They have to stop here, they have to stop here, they have to stop here, go across, stop here, just so they can get to the industrial jobs on this side of the city from all the way over here. So I was like, well, maybe if I make a more standardized um, grid-like pattern, which I favor because I'm just a graphs kind of guy. But maybe if I make a more grid-like pattern, then I can fit more people on the map without the traffic getting in the way like it used to. So I started looking at the zones and the kind of natural ways that they would show up. And so you get like this is 6 long right here, and this is like something like nine long. So I was thinking maybe if I repeat that over and over again, I won't have as many intersections. I'll have nothing but four-way intersections and none of these T crossings. So I did that. I standardized this and I just extended it. Oh, that's a bad road. Whatever. Let's destroy that. That's annoying me. But yeah, I'd make one zone and then extend it so that everywhere else on the map was would conform to that one zone. And that took me another step because I could fit more people on the map without without them crying over traffic and leaving my city because they couldn't get to work. So that took me to a whole nother level. Um, Eventually, I was making cities that were just absolutely huge. So let me take you to one of the cities where I settled down on this square grid that was six by six like this. I would count one, two. I would make it at the edge of the map like this, and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on the seventh um, square, I'd make a road. And then I'd do that in the other dimension as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on the seventh one, I'd make another road. And I repeated this across the whole map. And it just so happens that it would line up perfectly. And I'd have these exact squares, 9 of them in each direction, filling up an entire small tile. So it was 9 this way and 9 this way, and 81 of them just absolutely filling this small tile with nothing but zones and roads. And that's what really took me to the maximum density that I could build at, or so I thought. But let me show you um, where how I used to build for the majority of my time playing um, SimCity 4. Which one is it? It is Xanarkin, I believe. Yep. And yeah, Xanarkin is, if you didn't notice, a reference from Final Fantasy X, the big Machina city where the main character's from. And it's just this beautiful city, just expansive and all encompassing. But yeah, I named my city after that because that's what I wanted it to be, and that's what I was building it up to be. As you can see, it's just this everywhere. It's just nothing but city and high density buildings. I'm going to show you one of the more successful cities within the region. This is a small town named Riverwood, and it has a population of around 200,000 people and 270,000 commercial jobs. This is what I was shooting for. This is absolutely um, what I thought the game was leading up to in terms of in game and the maximum population that you could reach. Um, look at how many people live here. It's just it looks like downtown New York or something, but just expanded. And you'll notice that all the buildings look kind of the same. That's because, or they do look all the same. That's because I'm using a certain building style that I've heard was had the maximum capacity. The Euro contemporary building style, I've heard that has the maximum capacity of all buildings, and I just like the look of them. I mean, they're really pretty. Um, they're really streamlined and nice to look at, and very tall and thin and sleek. But yeah, these buildings have huge capacity. This one has 5,000 people living in it. This one has another 5,000, another 5,000. Because the majority of this city is medium and high wealth people. So there's not many low wealthers living here. The low wealth population buildings get even bigger. They have like 10,000 people living in these types of buildings. Yeah, see there? 10,000 people living in one building. That's absurd. And so yeah, I thought I was at the end of what I've been trying to build ever since I started this game. But then I started to question that. I was like, maybe I can get even more in there. Well, am I really at the largest stage of building? Is that all this game has to offer? Maybe let's take a look. I'll just see what I can do. And that's what led me to the discovery of the massive 4 by 4 stage 8 buildings. They just hold so many people. I have another region like this as well that has some stage 8 4 by 4 city buildings in it. It is called Galactic City. And I named it that because I was at the time when I started region, I was reading Foundation trilogy by Isaac Asimov, and it's a story chronicling the fall of the Galactic Empire. So I was naming my cities in the region after like planets in the that are places where parts of the story take place. But yeah, anyways, um, here's one of the largest cities that I've ever created on a medium tile where I didn't zone the entire thing as residential. This is equal zoning, residential and commercial, but it has 880,000 people living here. It's just ridiculous in terms of population as far as the medium tile goes. Um, Previously, all I could get up to with um, my other building style, which was the 6x6 I just showed you, all I could get up to was around 600,000, which is a lot compared to what I was building before. But that's just nothing compared to what this new style is capable of. Like it's not even full yet, and it's already shattered my previous record by like 200,000, and it's just absurd, absurd. Some of the more nuanced um, features of the city are it has full coverage of civics, any civic you can think of. It has um, police coverage, fire coverage, educational coverage. I'll show you some of the graphs in a second. All the medical coverage. I don't use landmarks because I've shown that they don't really have much of an effect further than what I created using this style of building. It's an 8x8 spacing style. So each one of these squares is eight long by 8 wide, and that allows for four spaces of 4x4 um, buildings, except for this one spot over here, which is where my transportation and parks go. So if we turn around here, you can see that I have a subway station, a bus station, and a skate park, which serve as like relief for the population density. Like in other places, I'll have like a tennis court or something, like right here. Although this is one of the less developed places since the demand crashed, which is the problem of this city. But yeah, I don't use landmarks because the infrastructure generates enough desirability on its own to um, eliminate the need for landmarks. Um, and I don't need any commercial cap busting power from landmarks because of this medium international airport and the neighboring connections. So there's room to grow in terms of caps. I just can't get the demand to come out of here. What else is there to talk about? It's completely self-sufficient in terms of utilities. So all my power is just fine. That power plant needs to be replaced right here because it's losing um, efficiency due to old age. It has 5 waste-to-energy plants taking care of the trash. That does create pollution. However, the pollution is obviously not enough to keep people from moving in because I mean you see them living all cramped up in here. It's like they want to be here regardless of this air pollution. So yeah, that allows me to fit these plants in here without horrible negative effects. Um, what else? Water. We produce our own water, like 400,000 freaking gallons of it. Here's the population map. I mean the population graph. We got 420,000 Um, Low wealth jobs. Did I read that graph wrong? That water graph? 450,000. Is that gallons or? Oh no, that's cubic meters. Yep. So 450,000 cubic meters, not gallons. So that's a lot more. Um, but yeah. So we got 460,000 low wealthers, 350,000 medium wealthers, 50,000 high wealthers, which is kind of low proportionally. Um, but we have 220,000 medium wealth commercial jobs, 120,000 high wealth commercial jobs. I mean, people are here in insane numbers, and the desirability of the people to live here is really high for the amount of stuff that's cramped in here. So this is the high wealth desirability map. And you can see there's only a few problem spots. Like even though there's all these really high pollution features of the city, including the traffic, um, there's only a few spots where they don't really want to live. Um, and the commercial desirability is even higher. Like they'll go anywhere in this city basically, except right on top of the airport where they can't even build anyway. So I mean, if the demand was there, there would be no problem for them to come in. It's just the demand is not there at all. And I did the math in terms of the number of parks that are in this city. There is room for well over 2 million people from each wealth class to live in this city. So I don't understand exactly why the demand has stalled out. Um, I couldn't produce a reason for that. That's why I'm researching, and that's one of the reasons I'm putting this video out there. Hopefully somebody knows other than me. I can't tell. But yeah, I'm trying to get a grid that can consistently produce buildings like these absolute monsters that are housing like 3,000 from this building, 3,000, almost 4,000, um, nearly 7,000 right there. This could house up to 15,000 low wealthers, which is even higher of a population than that small tile that I showed you before with the really high population. So I really want to see how many people I can fit into here. And this one can house 3,000 medium wealthers, um, 7,000 low wealthers. This one 6,000 low wealthers. The numbers are really high. And this commercial building here has 5,000 high wealth jobs in one building. That's 10,000 medium wealth jobs. There's so much room to grow for this city. Like not even all of it has these 4x4s, has spaces for 4x4 buildings yet. And plus, the demand is so low that you get these small little bullshit houses just growing in the middle of my city. Like, what are you doing? Get out. Um, I want to get the demand high enough so that those go away, but I just can't for some reason. Even though the desirability is high, even though I have full civics, even though there's no caps, um, can't get the demand. What else is there? I go through the maps. I mean the graphs. Crime is really low. 20 crimes a month. That's really insanely low for a city this size. Commute time is around 90 minutes, which is not. It's not great, but it's not bad either. Like it's not bad enough to make them leave the city. If they were leaving the city, I'd have little. They call them zots floating above the buildings where it'll notify me that they can't get to work. It'll be like a little briefcase with a cross over it, um, and it'll say they can't get to work. And if that lasts long enough, they'll even leave the city. So you'll get a bunch of abandoned buildings that say abandoned due to commute time. Now, I do have buildings that are abandoned due to low demand, but I have no buildings that are abandoned due to commute time. So, I mean, the traffic infrastructure is fine. Um, it's just that the demand is not there. But like I said, power, there's plenty of power, plenty of water. Air pollution is rather high, but again, it's not enough to make them leave the town. Um, Jobs and population, we went over that. There's barely any commercial service jobs here in the city. Um, Water pollution, zero. I have one water treatment plant right in the middle of the city that covers the entire radius. Garbage is at zero. Like I said, I have 5 waste management plants taking care of that. Um, Education, almost perfect for hundreds of years now. Um, it's just lately it's been stalling out. Um, this before this big dip was when I first started rezoning to fit in the big buildings back when the population was around 550,000 or so. Um, this big dip came and people started coming, and 300,000 more people, and they all came in with their low educations to get educated and live in the city. And now it's kind of stalling out because they don't come in anymore, even though I've zoned more space. Education by age, pretty perfect. The higher age, the older you get, the more educated you are, as um, confirms with real life. The population by age is pretty well distributed. We have a good number of old people and a larger number of young people, which is what we want because we want people to be just entering the workforce so that they can grow and have kids and do what they need to do, and the city can grow. Um, Life expectancy is over 90 years, which is great. Um, Residential average income. This is one of the more weird phenomenons that I have in my high density cities is that my residential average income will stall out at around 15,000 per 15,000 simoleons per citizen, which is ridiculously low. When I first started this city, residential average income was around 70,000, and then periodically we'd get these sharp drops like right here. It just fall insanely quickly, and it repeated, like it'll grow, and I don't know what's the cause of that, but it's just this is unpredictable. Um, the city income and expenses is relatively stable right now. I'm in a $3,000 surplus budget with 39 million in the treasury, so we're not going anywhere in terms of budget. Um, Funds, again, 39 million. RCI demand. Uh, this is just too negative. I don't understand why it's so negative with all this development around here. Um, there, like I said, the caps are too high for it to be for it to be for it to be the demand to be this low, and I just don't understand it. We have full industrial demand because a long time ago I decided that commercial jobs could support a much higher population because of the density that they build in. Industrial jobs tend to stay at lower stages of development and therefore don't carry that many jobs, whereas commercial jobs can build these tall buildings full of jobs that can support higher populations. So I switched to full commercial a long time ago. Um, Perfect mayor rating for like the past uh, 20 years. It's, it's a lot of time. Um, 500 years. It's just been staying at 100 for a long time. And traffic volume. We have more people walking. This is pedestrian traffic. We have more people walking in the city than any other form of transportation, which says something about the traffic and the accessibility of jobs. Um, Even though commute time is rather high, people can still get to work. really easily, and they don't care if they have to walk. So I mean, that's really all I have to explain about this city. Um, like I said, full civics, full gifts, except for the Opera House, which has that bug where if you plop it in a large city like this, um, you'll kill off like a good chunk of your population. I saw that junk in action. I mean, I put it in one of my 800,000 cities a little while back, and I literally lost 150 right there. It was absurd. I was like, what the heck is going on? Did 150,000 people just die or something? I mean, what is going on here? And I was like, no way. It can't be the Opera House. Because why would the Opera House take out that much population? I tested it just to see if people were dying or if it was the Opera House. And then I found out it was actually the Opera House. So I don't use that anymore. It stays open and I don't touch it. Um, and that's really it. All I can say is that I'm still trying to figure out how to develop this city to its full potential um, with the demand that I have right now, which is just abysmal. Um, I likened it to, in a conversation with one of my friends, I likened it to starting a fusion reaction, um, a solar fusion reaction in a brown dwarf, which is a star that's not quite a star yet. Um, this city is kind of like a brown dwarf. It's big, but it's not quite at that level where it can generate the demand to just push out these tall buildings everywhere on the map. And that's what I want. I want equally distributed residents and jobs across the entire regional map and at an extremely high density. So I want a population that's like a million in a medium tile, 4 million in a large tile, and eventually like 60 or 70 million over the entire region. I want some huge population numbers off of this, just naturally off of the demand that I can create with SimCity 4. No mods, no fixes or anything like that. Just working with the cards, the hands that I'm dealt. And that's really it. So thanks for watching. Feel free to like, and if you'd like to see more content, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I have a couple more videos, though my music videos tend to suck, so I don't recommend you watch those. I have one video on my stance as relates to religion. I'm planning on coming out with more of those, but right now my concentration is on figuring out what the heck is wrong with my city so that I can build what I've been trying to build for the past 2 years now. Thanks again, and see you later.